Hello all, Christ is risen, Christos Anesti. Welcome to week 38 of the Religious Education Initiative. We're continuing now with 1 Kings, or if you have the Orthodox Study Bible, 3 Kingdoms, chapter 19. Last time we saw Elijah confront Ahab and the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel and challenge them to see whose God was true. Elijah prepared one sacrifice, and they prepared another, and both called on their God to send fire from heaven. The prophets of Baal tried all morning and into the afternoon, but there was no fire. Elijah prayed once, and Yahweh immediately sent fire from heaven. The people who were assembled confessed that Yahweh, the Lord, was the true God, and the prophets of Baal were killed. It looked like a great victory had been won, and the people would return to the Lord. What we'll see this time, however, is that it ended up very differently from how Elijah hoped that it would go. Remember that at the end of the last chapter, Ahab left Mount Carmel and went back to his palace in the city of Jezreel, where his wife Jezebel was. So when we begin chapter 19, he gets there and he talks to his wife. So Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done and how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. Then Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah, saying, "So may the gods do to me, and more also, if I do not make your life as the life of one of them by this time tomorrow." Then he was afraid, and he arose and went for his life, and came to Beersheba, which belongs to Judah, and left his servant there. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness, and came and sat down under a broom tree, and he asked that he might die, saying, "It is enough. Now, O Lord, take away my life, for I am no better than my fathers." And he lay down and slept under a broom tree. And behold, an angel touched him, and said to him, "Arise and eat." And he looked, and behold, there was at his head a cake baked on hot stones, and a jar of water. And he ate and drank, and lay down again. And the angel of the Lord came again a second time, and touched him, and said, "Arise and eat, else the journey will be too great for you." And he arose and ate and drank, and went in the strength of that food 40 days and 40 nights to Horeb, the mount of God. And there he came to a cave, and lodged there, and behold, the word of the Lord came to him. And he said to him, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" He said, "I have been very jealous for the Lord, the God of hosts. For the people of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and slain your prophets with the sword, and I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away." And he said, "The Lord," which is to say, the word of the Lord, said, "Go forth, and stand upon the mount before the Lord." And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind rent the mountains, and broke in pieces the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. And when Elijah heard it, he wrapped his face in his mantle, and went out, and stood at the entrance of the cave. And behold, there came a voice to him, and said, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" He said, "I have been very jealous for the Lord, the God of hosts. For the people of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and slain your prophets with the sword, and I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away." And the Lord said to him, "Go, return on your way to the wilderness of Damascus, and when you arrive, you shall anoint Hazael to be king over Syria, and Jehu the son of Nimshi you shall anoint to be king over Israel, and Elisha the son of Shaphat of Abel-Meholah you shall anoint to be prophet in your place. And him who escapes from the sword of Hazael shall Jehu slay, and him who escapes from the sword of Jehu shall Elisha slay. Yet I will leave 7,000 in Israel, all the knees that have not bowed to Baal, and every mouth that has not kissed him." So he departed from there, and found Elisha the son of Shaphat, who was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen before him, and he was with the 12th. Elijah passed by him, and cast his mantle upon him. And he left the oxen, and ran after Elijah, and said, "Let me kiss my father and my mother, and then I will follow you." And Elijah said to him, Go back again, for what have I done to you? And he returned from following him, and took the yoke of oxen, and slew them, and boiled their flesh with the yokes of the oxen, and gave it to the people, and they ate. Then he arose and went after Elijah, and ministered to him. Now, there's a lot here. One thing that I want to point out quickly is we see already here in this scene, we see both the father and the son that Elijah is talking to, because the word of the Lord, the angel of the Lord, comes to him in the cave and speaks to him. And then when Elijah gives his complaint, he sends him outside, and the Lord passes by. And not in the thunder, not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in the still small voice, he understands he's talking to God. So we see the two in the Trinity. We see the two persons of the Trinity, two of the three persons already revealed here. But that's not what I want to emphasize here. As Christian people, we know that our job is to follow the Lord and be faithful to him. We understand that it is our task sometimes to bear witness to what is true and what is right in this world. And a lot of times we maybe feel like Elijah feels when our witness doesn't change things, when it seems like it doesn't matter. We do our best, we try to be faithful to God, and at the end of it, nothing seems to have changed. This is Elijah's complaint. He's saying, I did everything you told me to do. And I saw the wonder, I saw the miracle, I saw the fire from heaven come down and consume everything. It turned the top of Mount Carmel into a parking lot. I saw it. And I'm still hiding out here in the desert, the only one left in all of Israel who's faithful to you. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I feel like there's no point, he says. We lost. Somehow we won and we still lost. I don't get it. And God shows him his power, and then comes in this still small voice. And that's when Elijah recognizes that this is when God is present. That's why he wraps his face in the mantle, because he knows he can't see God the Father. And all God says to him is, go back. And here is your job. Anoint a new king for Syria, anoint a new king for Israel, and anoint a new prophet to take your place. Which is to say, God tells him, you thought you were fighting the war, but you're fighting a battle. You have your time to be faithful, and then your job is done. And other people will pick up and carry on where you left off. But the point is, the battle doesn't belong to Elijah, and it doesn't belong to Hazael or Jehu or even to Elisha. The battle belongs to the Lord, and the Lord will bring all of this to its end. So for us, and this is maybe the hardest lesson to learn in all of the Christian life, our job is not to accomplish any particular result. Our job is not to accomplish any particular outcome. We are called to be faithful, to serve the Lord wherever he places us, and to leave the result in God's hands. And what that means is that, like Elijah, if we are faithful, we will find ourselves alone. We will find ourselves disappointed. We will find ourselves uncertain of whether we're going to live or die, or whether we're going to have what we want at the very least. But God's word to Elijah must be comforting and encouraging to us. All we need to do is be faithful and trust God to bring about the end of his plan in his time. So next time we'll see the end of what happens to Elijah when he completes his task and is taken up into heaven. But for now, this is the end of day 1 of week 38. God bless you all. Christos Anesti. I'll see you all Wednesday for day 2. God bless you.